Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Herd Fit Podcast with Dr. Sam Marie and myself, Coach David Syvertson. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset. All right, welcome back to the Herd Fit Podcast. I am Coach David Syvertson. I am flying solo tonight. We have just got done with all the holidays, and I know Sam's away, and we didn't want to bother him the second he got back from vacation. So I wanted to get an episode out this week as we enter the opening week of Reset here at CrossFit Bison and Outlast Fitness. But for many of you, it's also the time of year that you are making goals for yourself. Your friends are making goals for themselves, whether it's your fitness, your health, your business, even just the year in general, life in general. And I've been in this position for a long time as a coach and owner of a gym, and this is a really fun time of year for me. No, not because our business goes up at all. It actually doesn't at all. We've never really seen a big surge of new members or clients, if you want to call them that, this time of year. We don't do any sort of New Year's deals here. But what I like most about it is that you're around a lot of people, not everyone, that truly are making goals for themselves. And they kind of walk around with a little extra swagger and confidence. And honestly, just grit in terms of pursuing their goals for the upcoming year. And it's great to be around. I love to feed off of others. We love to be at CrossFit Bison Outlast Fitness. A big part of why people come to gyms like this or any group fitness out there is that they like to be around other people that work hard. I think it always comes down to that simple fact that you work harder at any goal when you're around other people that are working hard as well, whether you're on a team or you're an individual just feeding off of others. There's nothing like it this time of year. I also think it's a time of year where there just isn't that much going on after the holidays. You kind of just hit the grind. It's cold, it's dark a lot, and you want to have something to really pursue. And it makes you feel good about yourself when you're actually pursuing a goal. And I've spent a lot of time talking to and listening to people discuss their goals. And obviously I'm in the CrossFit space. So you've heard a lot of those goals. I'm in the health and fitness space, whatever you want to call it. I hear a lot of those goals, but I'm just as excited to hear about anyone that has a financial goal, a business goal, a relationship goal, and something that Ash and I, my wife and I do on our crazy New Year's Eve party at our house with the two of us, I should say three of us, that we discuss what we want to get done this year. We kind of come up with like a life goal, relationship goal, work goal, fitness goal, personal goal, whatever. And obviously they're between us, but it helps to talk about them out loud, because when you hear yourself talk about a goal rather than just all the thoughts that are in your head, some of it actually makes more sense, or you start questioning yourself and you want to clean it up before you actually go and pursue it. But it's also equally effective to hear what other people are trying to accomplish for accountability reasoning, but also it can broaden your perspective of what real goal setting is. Ash has made a few goals over the past couple of years that kind of came out of left field for me. And I kind of was like, oh, that's different, not weird or bad, just different than what she normally would want to pursue. But watching her accomplish those things, whether it be work, whether it be reading, whether it be alcohol related, it's been inspiring to me. And it's actually made me look at my own goals and say like, hey, maybe I should try to do something other than what I'm currently doing. Maybe look at a different walk of life, a different experience, different kind of goal. And I think that's a real big benefit of listening to others. But in my line of work, I hear a lot of fitness and health goals. And I think I want everyone to know this. There is no bad goal. Everyone is different. And I think a lot of us are afraid to tell others what our goals are because you're afraid of being judged. And that's the world we live in today. Everyone has to have an opinion about everything you do all the time. And I think a lot of people are too insecure to really share a goal. But I think it's okay to be afraid of one. I think it's okay to be a little insecure about your goal. I think at some point you need to realize that really putting yourself out there and talking about these can be really beneficial to you and the person you're also talking to. So even if you don't really like talking about yourself, I think there's a benefit others will get by you talking about your goals with them. Just don't be that selfish person that demands the conversation all the time. Listen as much as you talk, if not more. And I think you can get something out of this time of year, even if you think it's corny. That's something that bothers me in the health and fitness industry. Honestly, people that go to gyms and run gyms, they kind of roll their eyes at the New Year's resolutions, because it is true. Most people don't follow through past the 2-week mark. Almost everyone is done with them by the 1-month mark. If you make it past that, you are an anomaly. So I understand why some people kind of roll their eyes. They go to the gym, it's crowded, the classes are full. We're already seeing registrations start to fill up at certain class times at Bison a week before New Year's. So I understand all of that, why it can be frustrating, but you should never demean someone that feels like they're motivated, because you never know what they're going through in life. You've been helped by other people when you have goals, whether you realize it or not. And if someone does have a little extra ambition, a little extra pep in their step, A, feed off it, or B, just support it and let them do their thing, because it's a lot of positive can come from that. So I don't want to make this too long. I know listening to a podcast with just one person can be a little rough sometimes. So I'm going to try to be somewhat quick with this. I have the do's and don'ts, 3 of each of making goals. But I want to be clear on this. I'm not telling you what your goal should be. I'm not telling you how to make goals. I don't think I'm that kind of guy. But I've listened to a lot. I've seen a lot of failure. I've seen a lot of success in my line of work with people just like you. Yes, you. And I think I can take some of their experiences without putting their names out there that can truly help you out in whatever you're trying to pursue in 2026. But just understand this, the pursuit of the goal, that is where all of the magic happens. It's not you making a goal, telling someone about it, and making a post about it. More power to you if you do that. But that's no different than you simply starting your car in the driveway before you go on a long road trip. Like, you really haven't done anything yet. And it's the pursuit. It's getting into the car and starting to drive and chipping away at it. That's where the magic happens. I think a lot of goal setting is fantasy land, about your lifestyle, about your health, about what you look like, about what you weigh, about what you can do in the gym, or something completely outside of the gym, business, finance, relationship, anything. It's the pursuit that makes it happen. It's not the thinking about it. It's not just you have to actually execute on things. And that's one thing I've always seen from my perspective, that it's easy, especially in CrossFit, to make a goal, but it's the pursuit that you need to get amped up about. That's where the magic is. So I'm going to start off with the do's of what you want to do when you are setting goals. Okay. And again, I'm not going to tell you what your goal should be, but this is kind of like a macro level. Here's the game plan that I think can work for you. There's 3 of them. Number 1 is get specific. Get as specific as possible. The goal is, at the end of the day, it's a competition between you and yourself. Even for those that are not competitive, it's still, hey, I got this done or I did not. It's a pass fail for my students out there. If you remember what some classes were like back in college, you passed or you failed. It wasn't A, B, C, D. It was you did it or you didn't. And when you have that kind of approach to a goal, you need something tangible to say you did or you did not do. Example, what's the most common New Year's resolution for people? I want to lose weight. All right, I've heard it a million times over my career. I like the idea of saying I want to lose X pounds, 10, 15, 20, 5, 2, 1. But once you get past the broad macro level, hey, I want to lose weight, cool, how much? So that in 2, 3, 4 months, you got it done or you didn't. Right. And I think the more specific you can get, hey, I want to save money. Well, that's not really good enough, right? Like, saving 1 penny is saving money. How about this? I want to save 20% of my income. You know, that now it gets real. Now you're going to have to like really go through a step-by-step process to examine, how do I get there? I want to get stronger. That's another popular goal as we get into a new year. Well, how about we say I want to add 10% to 3 of my lifts, pick 3 lifts, and I want to add 10% of my all-time 1 rep max or my most recent. All right, for those that are a little bit older and you're probably never going to touch weights that you did 15 years ago when you were in college or playing sports or whatever. But let's say my most recent heavy back squat was 350. Hey, I want to add 10% to that. Okay, cool. 385 is the number I need to hit. Whatever. Then I try to get that in X amount of time. I want to be healthier. That's another really broad term. It's not wrong. It's a great goal. I love hearing it from people that have struggled with the health train for a long time. How about it's, hey, I want to avoid processed food 6 days per week. Or, hey, I want to try and sleep 6 to 7 hours per week because I usually sleep 4 to 5. And you get a wearable that tells you how much you're sleeping. That whole like win or loss of that week, that month, that year, whatever, how long ever the goal you want it to be, that really helps make people create actual goals for themselves. Is make it as specific as you can. There is no limit to how specific you can get, as specific as you can. All right. Number 2 is tell someone. I want you to tell someone what your goals are. It could be 1 goal, it could be 10, but accountability. It is as important to goals as breathing is to being alive. You have to have something or someone holding you accountable. A lot of us are intrinsically motivated, but every now and then it might only just be 1 week of the year. It might be at some point halfway through your goal, whatever time frame you've set for your goal. You need something to keep you accountable. Now, a lot of us like to use a weight scale for our weight loss goals. Cool. Like, not the worst thing in the world. That's fine. But you want to tell someone you're trying to do something about your weight, or you want to tell someone you're trying to do something about your nutrition or your sleep patterns or your alcohol intake, because at some point you need to be told that you're doing a good job or not. Right. And I'm not anti cheerleading or not anti drill sergeant. Everyone kind of needs both. You need support, but you also need some hard truth at some point. This does not, by the way, always need to be a friend or a spouse or a training partner or a coach. Ideally, it's someone that can play a little bit of good cop, bad cop with you. Nobody wants to be belittled for your ups and downs, right? We're all going to fail here and there, but you also don't want the soft cheerleader that does nothing but support you and clap their hands, because you do need to hear some hard truth. Sorry, I'm going to lose my voice a little bit. I'm going to try to do my best. That's another reason why I got to keep this thing short. But I really do think that pursuing a real goal, it's difficult to do, and you can't do everything by yourself. Some of you think you can, you cannot. You've never done anything and completely by yourself. Everything that you've accomplished that's high level in your life came from someone helping you, whether you realize it or not. And I think when you're trying to pursue a goal, that needs to be a must. You have to tell someone so that they can hold you accountable. Hey, buddy, I'm trying to RX 4 workouts a week. You know what? I don't like that goal. Let's just stick with the lose weight one. Hey, I'm trying to lose 10 pounds by the end of reset this year. Can you check in with me after 2 weeks, after 4 weeks, so on and so forth? Because that voice, right? I've had nutrition coaches myself. I've had training coaches myself. And when I didn't want to do something, the fact that I had to check in with someone and they were going to see my result, it absolutely helped me. We've seen that at the gym a lot, with a lot of different things where accountability helps. So that's number 2. Number 3, okay, the win the day. Someone recently just told me that I respect a lot from Bison. He just accomplished something really admirable, and it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, where did that come from? And I asked him about what he did. He's accomplished other really high level things in his life, business, athletically, everything. And he goes like, dude, the only thing I tried to do was just win that day. I didn't care about next week. I didn't care about a vacation coming up. I wasn't creating excuses for myself that in 2 weeks I have a wedding, blah, 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 right? I just tried to do everything I could to win that day. And it never felt overwhelming. And it's great when you make this long-term goal and the time frame approximately in which you want to put your accomplish that in. And you start off with motivation, you start off hot, but you hit a snag. Most goal setting, at some point you're challenged with a fail, with a loss, with a roadblock, speed bump, whatever you want to call it. And I think that hitting some micro goals, meaning I'm going to try to win the day, is a really big deal. If you talk about the old school reset, the one that we run at Bison for a long time, where you were just trying to get a 5 every day, meaning you drank the water you're supposed to drink, you followed your nutrition plan, whatever that was, you hit your sleep mark, you didn't drink alcohol, and you worked out. There was 5 points per day that people were able to accomplish. Sorry, I know it's pretty hard to listen to someone clear their throat over and over. So that's something that I think will help you out a lot as you try to accomplish something that is difficult, is to stop thinking so hard about, oh my gosh, how close am I to this goal? Am I doing a good job or not? Just win the day. How do I get there today? And I really do think that if you just pack day after day after day without even thinking about more than just today, you'll be surprised at that result. So those are the do's of what I want you to do when you try to set a goal. Now, here are the do nots. This is what I do not want you to do when you're trying to set a goal. And again, it's not from my personal experience. I don't know enough to tell you how to do this. It's from what I've learned from others that have set goals and failed and succeeded, and the trends and observations that I've seen others go through when they do this, when they fail or succeed. And the number one thing I want you to avoid is do not fear failure. This, I cannot tell you how much this prevents people from pursuing something. And if you don't pursue something, you're not accomplishing something, obviously, right? But when in reality, the most successful people in this world are also the people that have probably failed the most. And I can just use Bison and Outlast as an example in just the fitness world, right? We have some very high level fitness people. I'm not even talking about competitive CrossFit. We just have some very fit people in that gym. I've seen those people that are very fit, fitter than almost everyone, fail more than pretty much everyone else in that gym. Can you hear that for a sec, right? Repeat that in your head. The people that are the most, quote, successful people in a gym are the ones that have failed the most. And it's not that they're gifted. It's not that they're better, but they don't fear failure because they really know that the only route, the only road to succeeding in any sort of goal setting is you have to fail. You get knocked down, you get back up. That you have to. I would even say that if you're not failing anything in the pursuit of your goal, you probably are not pursuing something hard enough. You're kind of taking the easy road out. All right. So when in reality, there's no such thing as success without failure when I set goals. What's up, bud? Brock's going to join me for this next part of the episode. You got a lollipop? Ice pop? Brock's New Year's resolution is to what?
Wrestle.
He wants to wrestle this year. All right. So you're going to do a good job? All right, cool. All right, go back and practice wrestling.
I'm not wrestling today.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
So I'm not wrestling tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
I am.
Okay.
So, jokes, yeah.
Okay.
Bye to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Shut the door. All right. This is going really well. So that's number one. Is just do not fear failure because it's all of these things that you are going to fail with are going to lead to the successful mark at some point, or you're going to succeed in something else in the pursuit of your goal. My brother, Mike, was just promoted to colonel in the U.S. Army. It's the top 1% of the Army, very hard to get to, very high up. I'm not going to make this podcast about him. He'll be mad if I do, but I've seen Mike. There was very few people at his ceremony, his promotion ceremony, that have known Mike his whole life. You know, we've known Mike as a kid, as a teenager, a high schooler, college kid, post-college kid, and everyone that was at that ceremony and dinner after kind of met him along the way, met him a little bit later in his path. And I've seen Mike fail so many times and struggle and do things that he probably doubted himself on. And to this day, in terms of my personal relationship with people, is probably the most successful person I know. And he does things that are harder than pretty much anyone's ever going to have to do, both intellectually, physically, mentally, emotionally. The things that he's dealt with over the years are enough to put most of us in the quitting room. Like we couldn't hack it. And his response to failure and struggle was, hey, this is going to make me stronger. It's going to make me accomplish things that, hey, I can't even see right now. But my response to this was, no, I'm not going to fear what makes me struggle. I'm not going to fear what makes me fail. It's going to make me better in terms of what I'm actually trying to pursue. And that's something that's inspiring. But it's also a key trait. If you're actually going to try to accomplish something goal-wise that you have in your head right now, accept the fact that you're going to fail along the way. you're going to have bumps in the road. Just accept it. And then honestly, the second you accept that, you're kind of like, okay, it's just part of the process. And it's a lot easier to deal with. All right. So that's number one. Number two, this is a big one from my line of work, and it's don't compare yourself to others. Again, let's circle this back to what should I be thinking about when I'm setting a goal for myself? This is a really important one. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has different situations, but not everyone has different goals. Again, I just told you, if I've been doing this for 13 years now, I've probably heard some of the goals, all right, some of them out there, I've probably heard hundreds of times from different people. So a lot of different people have the same goals, and a lot of us have a hard time not comparing my result to their result, because that's what we do in this world. But you have to understand this. Everyone has different life situations. Some people have a lot more time to work out, train, mobilize, prep their food than you do. You're busier. Cool. Don't compare yourself to them. That's easy to get over. Some people have wide open schedules. Some people are like every hour they have to do something or be somewhere. They're always in a rush. Some people have a lot of alone time. Some people don't get any. So all of this some of these things are things you cannot control. And if you're constantly comparing your results to someone else, you're probably going to end up selling yourself short in terms of the pursuit of what you're actually trying to do. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? You're going to lack pride. You're going to lack ambition. You need both to really accomplish goals. You need to be proud of yourself at times. Yes, you need to be hard on yourself, but you need to have moments of pride, that dopamine rush, like, wow, I like this. I achieved something. I want to go. But if you're constantly saying, oh, well, I got this done, but it wasn't as good as her, or it wasn't as good as him, you're robbing yourself of something that's actually going to help you get to your next goal. So just stop the comparison game. I think a lot of CrossFitters especially truly struggle with this, that they get confused by being pushed by someone, inspired by someone, with competing against them. We have a competitive group of people at the gym. Not everyone's competitive. A lot of people are. And you can see it over the years where they get upset if they, quote, lose to someone in a workout. They compare their score to someone else's. And there's a line you need to not go past. And if you're getting down on yourself because you're losing to someone else, that's a you problem that you need to fix. And I really think that if you can get away from constantly comparing yourself to others, unless you're actually in a competition, which you're not on a day-to-day basis, get rid of that. Just stop. Just go into your goal setting and the pursuit of your goal, trying to win your day, trying to achieve your goal. If someone else accomplishes something better than you, clap for them, support them. They probably pushed you. You're probably pushing them. All right. So last one. I'm running out of vocal ability here. So last one here is going to be, again, in goal setting, avoid playing the sympathy card. Avoid playing the victim card. Now, this has a little bit more to do with your pursuit of the goal, but before you make your goal, or as you're making your goal, start creating the scenarios in your head in which you are going to struggle. Anticipating struggle is a big part of accomplishing goals. Having a plan B ready in case plan A does not work out. Solving problems, right? Key parts of success is being able to solve problems. And make your mind up as you're making these goals that the sympathy card, the victim card, it's not a part of this process. So we know it's hard. We know not everything is your fault. We know life is not fair. Okay. But the more you lean into those things, that it's hard, that it's not your fault, that it's not fair, the more you lean into that, the less likely you are to find solutions. The less likely you are to find solutions, the less likely you're going to hit goals, because a big part of accomplishing a goal that you're making right now for the year, for the month, whatever period you're pursuing, is find solutions to the problems that are in your way. And if you're constantly playing that victim card and you're asking others to feel bad for you, all right, you're just wasting time. some people may feel bad for you. They might make you feel good in that moment. They might make you feel like, hey, I have a little bit more self-worth. I get it. I understand there's emotional component to all goal setting, failing and succeeding. There's emotions involved in there. But if you're leaning on the anticipation of struggle and failing and that other people are going to make you feel better for that, I think you're going to sell yourself short. You are very capable of putting a really good effort into whatever you're pursuing. Okay. I'm not going to guarantee, and neither is anyone going to guarantee that you'll hit your result that you want, but you are absolutely capable. I believe in you. Your coaches believe in you. Your friends, your spouses, they believe in you that you can put everything you can into that specific goal. But we know there's no guarantees in life. You're not always going to achieve these goals. We already talked about it. Failing a goal, it's part of it. Okay. But you have to avoid setting yourself up for that sympathy card. If victimhood and desire for sympathy, if it takes over, it's really hard to escape. And again, this comes from my experience in my position at Bison, listening, observing to others, is that when you are constantly looking for that sympathy and you're constantly the victim of something, it's really hard to escape that process because it makes you feel like it's okay to stop trying. It's okay to quit. And I'm big on whatever you start, you better finish. You might not win, but you better finish. And then eventually and slowly it becomes your identity. The only reason, and you have to announce a goal to everyone, and then something bad happens, you have to let everyone know that, hey, something out of my control happened. It's not my fault. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not, but it's a really bad habit. If you fail, you fail. You own it, you move on. We've talked about failure already in this episode. And I want you guys to understand there's nothing wrong with failing. I've been pretty vocal about my pursuit of trying to compete at the CrossFit Games as a master's athlete. I haven't gotten there yet. I have failed every single year. And I own it. And I move on and I try again. And that's it. So I think I'm actually on about 5% vocal ability right now. So sorry if it bothered you that the coughing Brock visit and my voice going in and out. But I hope the message to you guys is helpful as you start to set goals. And no, you don't need to set a goal right now. It could be next week. It could be next month. It could be in summer, whenever. But there are do's and don'ts to goal setting, but no one's ever allowed to tell you what your goal should be and what it should not be. But I think that, those do's and don'ts that I gave you can at least help you set up your goals for the year. And if you do your best to follow the do's and don'ts, I think it gets you that much closer to accomplishing them, or at least learning a lot about yourself as you go for them. All right. Thank you guys. We will see you next week, hopefully with people that can actually talk. All right. Bye. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Herd Fit podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.